fall morning as we continue on with our story here out of the Gospel of John. So if you're joining us for the 500th time or the first time, it's wonderful to have you on board. And it's a very special group. We just have been plugging along at the Bible, just doing like one or two sentences a day, and just peeling back what it all could mean. And it's a great little conversation. So as part of that conversation, if you'd like, again, you're more than welcome to offer any comments on New Church Live's Facebook page. Those are the comments I'll be checking live here at the end of our little selection. So with that, let's get a big breath here and settle into it, to a beautiful line in the Bible. And this is one that's, it's actually fairly famous, and you will hear it quoted. Not a ton, but you do hear it quoted a fair amount. It's a beautiful bit. So the context: this blind man has been healed. He's been given back his sight. And then the Pharisees, the clergy at that time, are really upset that Jesus has done this because he did it on the Sabbath. And there's all kinds of reasons why they have their concerns. And we've looked at that, kind of those Pharisees has been our mind that loves to interrogate everything. And, I was thinking of the line this morning, and I don't have the quote right. Maybe one of you does and can put in the comments. It's like, to murder is to dissect, or to dissect is to murder. In other words, if you have something and you dissect it, like, it's not going to live anymore. And that's sort of what they are guilty of here. They just dissect things, to a point that it totally loses track of the fact that the guy can see. They lose track of the miracle, just that simple. Now, they lost track of the fact that the guy could see, but guess who did not lose track of the fact that the guy could see? The guy. He clearly understands the miracle of this. And that's where we come to this line. So we mentioned yesterday, again, the Bible has these little humorous parts of it. The humorous parts where the Pharisees are now accusing Jesus of being actually a man filled with sin. There's all kinds of like weird little goofy humorous parts to that they would say that. And this is the man's response, which I love. The man answered and said, "Whether he, Jesus, is a sinner or not, I don't know." And he's going like, "Look, I don't know whether the guy is a sinner. What do you, this is like, it's a silly conversation." We might say a silly conversation, even though that's not the wording here. I do not know. One thing I know, and this is the beautiful line that's often quoted: "I was blind and now I see. I was blind and now I see." The guy's going like, I don't get what you guys are even talking about. This is what I truly know. I know that I couldn't see and now I can. That simple. And I love that line, right? And a couple of things about the miracle of sight, thinking about the miracle of sight and how that works. One is, when I was doing some reading this morning, getting ready for today, and this comes from our Christian New Church perspective, is that love determines what we see. What we love determines what we see. And I think we know that. Like, if you're out in the woods and you really love birds, you're going to see birds. If you really love mushrooms, you're going to see mushrooms. What we love determines what we see. And that's a really core part of Christian New Church thought. And so that idea that in heaven, we have all these different perspectives, all these different ways that people see, and they're all seeing something different, but at the same time, they're all seeing the wholeness of things, which is beautiful in and of itself. And the idea here, folks, like, just follow this line. So it's real important to know that what we love is what we see. And then once we see it, that's oftentimes what we do. So you have love, you have seeing, and you have doing. You have love, you have seeing, you have doing. So when we see the world a certain way, from a certain perspective, and love has opened us up, it doesn't necessarily, like, just the sight in and of itself doesn't change the world. It just helps to register what's happening. And that in turn can kind of feed back to us in a way for figuring out, like, yeah, how do I serve in this place? How do I help people in this place? So that's kind of what I want to share a little story with you here about now, because I think it talks about that. So we closed up a couple of small groups last night that have been running for 4 weeks. A lot of times we do what we call semester small groups, which essentially run for a month. And It was a great, oh, so precious. Just a beautiful, beautiful gathering of wonderful souls. And people were talking, and one of them, and I share this with permission, oftentimes is on this call in the morning, and that's Mary. Mary was talking about working out, working at a checkout counter at a grocery store, and this woman comes through, and this woman is not happy. she's she's yelling, she's complaining about this, she's complaining about that, she's complaining about the other thing, complaining. And Mary is, as we all would be, justifiably annoyed at all, annoyed at watching that. Like, yeah, and I told Mary nobody has permission to yell at her. So that's going on, and then of course it gets to the end, and the woman is 10 cents short, and Mary's I'm thinking how I would think, and I imagine Mary being as well, just like, what? What? Like, you just complained about all this, now you're 10 cents short. And there's a little bit of like, oh my goodness, to that moment. And isn't that the human condition, right? That's the human condition. And then the woman right behind her says, "Here, I have a dime." you know, I have a dime. I'll pay for it. So right there, folks, right there, that 10 cents, right there, that 10 cents. So here's part of our choice, right? And John 9:25, talking about this change into being able to see. And that's the choice, right? Can we actually have sight in that moment? Because there's one way in which we can look at that moment, and we can look at that moment, and we can see this woman who's just being a pain in the what, just a complete pain. And we can be justifiably annoyed, justifiably, I'm using that word purposefully, resentful. Nobody deserves to be treated that way. No one should treat another person that way who's just trying to do their job. Totally unacceptable. And we never have to accept unacceptable behavior. And here's this other woman with this dime. Now the question is, which are we going to see? And I would think that you can imagine, depending on the love that you're coming from, you might see two different things. And the spiritual journey is to realize that we always have that choice to see the dime. And dime's not much money, it's not like some big grandiose thing. It's just a small little token. It's just a small little thing. And what's that speaking to? That woman turning over that dime is the better angels of our nature, the love that we all want to see grow and flourish and just really, really take root. So that's the thought for today, folks. Is just be thinking about staying on the dime. Focus on the dime, focus on the dime, focus on the dime, because you're going to have plenty of the other opportunities, and frankly, the other opportunities are going to be much louder. They're going to be much more toxic. They're going to be screaming for your attention. And even in that moment, can we just remember, all right, so we can be blind to things here. Know that God wants us to be able to see. Know that that sight will come from love. What love can I rest in my heart that will help me to see this differently? And you will. I mean, that's the miracle. That's the miracle part. The miracle part. It really is incredible. So folks, that's my thought. And what we're gonna do now to close it, if you're joining us for the first time, is we're going to ring a little bell that'll help to clear our minds, a little prayer bowl. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to say the Our Father prayer, new church version of the Our Father prayer. After the Our Father prayer, we're going to do a little blessing. After the blessing, I will say hi to folks again on our Facebook, New Church Live Facebook page. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be pulling up my Facebook page here on my phone. And folks, if you have a chance to, you're welcome to go over, welcome to run on over and throw a little remark up there, and then I'll give you a little shout out here. It just takes me a minute to get my phone loaded. And again, I hope everyone just, yeah, I'm wishing everyone a beautiful day on this fall day. I just wish, it sounds horrible. I just wish my allergies were gone. All right, friends, here we go. Oh, we got a lot of comments today. All right. Okay. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. Great to see you. And Rick, good morning to you. I don't know whether you're joining us mobile or stationary somewhere in the country, but it's great to have you with us. Uh, Gene writes, a little late, dropping boys off at Chesapeake Christian Academy. We had a sleepover last night. That sounds like a ton of fun. Yeah, Marianne, right there. There's a sermon right there, Marianne. To see things differently doesn't cost anything. It really doesn't. That's really good. Brandon gives us a little Williams Wordsworth here. I love it. Sweet is the lore which nature brings, our meddling intellect. Mishaps the beauteous form of things. We murder to dissect. That's it. We murder to dissect. That's good. Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. Oh man, Brandon, that's really good. I gotta use that in a sermon. I'm gonna look for dimes. Yeah, so I was thinking, Martha. I was thinking I may give out dimes. I do a bunch of little chapel things, and maybe we'll do dimes as part of it somewhere in there. Tori writes, good morning, everyone. I love the idea of staying focused on the dimes. Little mantras like that make it easier to carry principles I'm already aware of into moment to moment situations. And it's always interesting to me too, Tori. Like it's always the little stuff, right? I just I keep going back to that. Like even just thinking with sight, like he could see, but it wasn't like he's tasked with this huge change in the world. Just you have to start to see, and then you can start to make changes. Uh, I just saw fear giving, driving the hate and love, folding it in a hug. That is so beautifully said. Steve, my buddy, great to see you in there. And obviously it said 19 comments, but I'm gonna obviously my phone is missing some there. So I'll be making some comments online to you folks who I sadly miss. So my apologies for that. So folks, just wishing you all the best, and may you have a day where you're on the dime. There you go. All right, take care. God bless. We'll see you. Bye bye.